Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 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 A, B, C, D. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D. Okay, so welcome to Monetize Masterminds Module 2, 2.6, how to set up a 1-week email campaign to warm the leads. So there's 2 email campaigns that we're going to cover here. The first one is going to be the email campaign to your existing list. And then I'm going to show you how to do an email campaign to cold traffic using Facebook ads or any type of other ad source that you want to use. So let's jump right into it. So first and foremost, to your list, there's this email campaign that I've laid out to you that has about 13 emails in it. And the beautiful thing is that I've already written these emails for you. Everything that you've done in the previous modules are actually tying in to this particular email campaign to your existing list. And so there's 4 parts, and I want to walk you through the different 4 parts of the campaign. So the first part of the campaign is these 3 emails, and it's getting people to raise their hands. That's the primary goal of these first 3 emails. And so as I shared with you earlier, we're going to do a survey that we send out to your existing list, no matter how big it is, to see if people are even interested in a mastermind. And I have that survey already created for you. You will just copy it and you'll integrate that link into your particular campaign. So that's going to be the initial email that we send out. Email number 2 after that, actually this is, that should say 2, is just saying that, great, I got back all these surveys after 48 hours, and I'm so inspired by what you all shared, the number 1 challenges that you're having, because again, this is giving you information, 1, of who's interested, right? Simply by the fact that they filled out the survey lets you know that they're interested. And then 2, you're getting data on who they are and what kind of challenges that they're having. And this may cause you to go back to your original mission for your group and even your group name in order to actually create a mastermind that is serving your current audience's needs. But if you do not want to continue serving your current audience, that's okay. And we can actually create a mastermind for a different group of people that you would enjoy serving even more. So then after that, this should say email 3, not email number 2. You actually come back with the email 48 hours later, and it basically says, guess what? You've decided. I didn't decide, you decided. And this goes back to our reluctant leader story. You've decided that I'm going to start a mastermind group because I got such raving reviews and great responses that I know that this is a way that I can serve people who have been on my email list for a long time, who don't just want another book to not read, right? And who don't want my high-end coaching package, but want to have a deeper connection with me and actually connect with me on a regular basis. But not just me, also be part of this community that we created. And so that's the first 3 emails in the campaign. Again, here's the survey email that I sent out that actually triggered my mastermind group, and I've given you language similar to actually create yours. The second set is actually getting people to join the webinar. So you can launch with all kinds of events. We said webinar, you can do a potluck, you can do a live event, 1-day training, and then do a pitch at the end, right? There's different ways, but this is particularly for a webinar because many of you will have mastermind groups that don't meet in person, but that are actually virtual. So this is for a webinar, and this is a 1-week process. And prior to that process, what I'd like you to do, we talked about seeding a little bit. What I'd like you to do is actually seed your website, seed your social media, and seed other things with content around masterminds, right? Because you'll actually find that a lot of people on your list don't really know what masterminds are. They've been in masterminds, but they didn't call it that. They've been in sister circles, they've been in collective, they've been in think tanks, but they didn't necessarily call it a mastermind, right? And so one thing that you can do, which Rashida did great here, she created a video on why I joined a mastermind. Right, that is actually planting a seed when they go to your homepage and look for you. It's planting a seed for you telling your own mastermind story, meaning that you're not just selling a mastermind, but that you actually also invested in a mastermind yourself, right? And the mastermind that you are part of is mine, right, with the focus group, and that is at a $2,000+ price point, depending on whether you paid one time or if you are financing it, right, and paying monthly. So that makes it easier for you to ask if your mastermind is not as expansive, right, as mine, not expensive but expansive. That actually gives you the authority to actually charge $99 a month, because you are actually investing in a mastermind that's twice as expansive or expensive, depending on who's looking at it, right? So what gave me the confidence in part to actually charge at the level that I charge is that I actually invested in a $7,000 mastermind group for a year. And I saw that and I was like, I give equal or more than that. And so by you investing in your own growth in that way, it makes it easier for you to make this pitch and this sale to your particular audience. It's the same notion of you want to be a coach, but you're not willing to pay a coach. And I've said this before, many of us want to charge many of us want to charge prices that we aren't willing to pay for the same exact thing, right? And that doesn't make any sense. And so Rashida planted the seed with this, and this is on her homepage. There's other content that you can use, which are myths and lies about the loneliness of entrepreneurship, right? Nobody tells you that when you actually cut off your colleagues and a company and you leave, right, that it's actually a lonely road, and Mastermind creates an opportunity for you to have community on this while you're taking the road less traveled. Other kinds of content that you can share are amazing people who have inspired me this year, and you pick people from the focus group and you actually highlight them. And as you are sharing these stories about these amazing people that you were connected with this year, you're mentioning the focus group or you're mentioning just my mastermind, because you're not here to sell focus group membership, right? You're here to sell your membership, but you're talking about my mastermind group that I'm in, right? That I'm a part of, not the one that I lead that I'm ultimately going to be offering, but the mastermind group that I'm a part of. It's allowed me to meet all these amazing people. So if you were in the airport and you bumped into somebody, you went to somebody's event and you have a picture with them, you talk about this amazing person, and that's what a mastermind does. It's an instant network for your community members, right? It would take them years to actually meet all 20, 25, 30, 50 of these people on their own, but you've actually gathered them in one place so that they can have an instant network. So this is kind of the seed planting that you can do via email, via your blog, LinkedIn posts, YouTube or Facebook videos, podcasts, etc. You can plant seeds prior to actually getting into this campaign, so people start to get familiar with the language and start to see the power without you actually even making a direct offer yet. So from there, you want to get into people to join the webinar. And so the next email is a coming soon email. And this is 7 days before the actual webinar and 10 days before the cart closes. And again, I have all that copy for you, and I'll jump into that in a second. In fact, let me go show you really quickly all of that copy. Window, all up in my email, right? Let me show you all of that copy. Refresh this. Whoops. Give me 1 second. Log out. Technology. Let me do this. Thought I had it pulled up for you, and oh. Okay, give me 1 second. Courses, Monetize Masterminds. Curriculum 2.6. Come on. Gotta edit this out of the final video. I don't know what's going on right now. Come on. Technology, man. Okay, here we go. So apologies for that. So here we go. Here's the email campaign. And this is the email campaign I've laid out for you. You see the diagram here. And your emails are simply laid out here. The survey email right there. Email to my Mastermind Experience survey closes in 48 hours. So you've decided, here are the results. And then we get into this week, right? 7 days from now, I'm going to be doing the webinar. Then we get into early bird open. So the webinar, this is all about the webinar. Early bird closing, open to the public. So here we go. Here's the entire email campaign laid out for you. You have all of your emails here in order for each of the 3 parts that I'm guiding you through right now. So you can see them all laid out here, and this is all being pre-populated from your responses in modules, your responses in modules 1 and 2. Okay, all the way down to your welcome email, to your goodwill email. Your goodwill email is for people who don't sign up. You still care about them and their success, so you give them something. And then also there's some personal emails to survey takers who did not show up to the webinar but did not join the group. And then personalized emails to surveys who did not show up to the webinar and therefore did not join the group. Actually, this one is but did not. Oh, this is survey takers who did show up but did not join the group. And this is survey takers who did not show up to the webinar and therefore did not join the group. So this is your whole layout here. Everything is here for you. You do not have to create anything. You can go in and touch it up a little bit, but all of this is actually here for you to simply cut, copy, and paste and integrate into something like Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, whatever your email marketing system is. You just want to copy and paste this and then edit from there. Okay. So again, now we're talking about your webinar, and you're going to say this. We're going to start this campaign 7 days before. That is coming soon. Then we're going to announce it. Then we are going to send out a reminder, and then another reminder, and then from there you go into the actual webinar, right? So you deliver the webinar. Your cart is now open because you made your offer on that webinar using the skill set I taught you from the previous modules, and you have an early bird countdown. For people who make a decision within 24 hours. Then you remind them about the early bird discount going away. And then finally from there, you have another 2 to 3 day sequence where you are reaching out and still having the cart open. They've lost the early bird discount, and it could be a discount, it could be bonuses. It all depends on how you want to structure your offer. But for another 2 to 3 days, you leave the cart open. There's some reminder emails that go out. Last call, cart closed, your group begins, right? So that is the structure of this email campaign, and it's fully laid out for you. And this goes to your existing list. No matter how big your list is, I guarantee that you will get your first members from this campaign alone. Okay. So I just need you to follow it, copy it, paste it, and deploy it. That's number one thing. Okay. So if you go back to your email templates and they are not complete, you will see things like this that say answer now. This will take you back to the page where you need to answer that particular question, and you can fill that in there, and then once you come back it will be complete. So this is why it was so important to fill in all the blanks in the previous modules. Okay, so now we are going to go into cold traffic, and this is a real skill set that I'm still learning, continuing to learn, but I've had some success at it, and I've been able to replicate that success as well. So cold traffic literally means taking somebody from Facebook or Facebook ads, right, running them through your Infusionsoft campaign or your ActiveCampaign or MailChimp or whatever it is that you use, Entreport. And then I've also combined that with ClickFunnels for some landing pages that occur throughout that particular funnel. Now, here's what it looks like. I learned this from Frank Kern and as being part of his mastermind, and I get to share it with you here because it's worked. I've adapted it to fit my model and what I'm up to. But here is the campaign, and it looks confusing here. This is Infusionsoft for those of you who don't know it. I'm going to jump in and show you that this is not that confusing. Let me just show you. So here it is, and all of these things are little what they call sequences, and inside of those are a sequence of emails that go out, right? Email 1, email 2, email 3, and you can put timers on them and things of that nature. And so you can replicate this in Entreport, ActiveCampaign, all these other email marketing platforms, Aweber, all of that is here. So this is prior to the webinar, a reminder sequence, and these are sign up forms here. And then from there, after the webinar, reminders, and then there's a countdown sequence. That's what they call it. And then that's it, right? So there is prior to the webinar, and then there's after the webinar, and then there's like a final day countdown sequence, and people have to make their decision from there. And as I shared with you earlier, there's 2 routes for our exit plan or our buyers, which is one, just to go pay in full or pay monthly. And then we have this other route, which has been effective, which is a fit call, right? And so it's saying, okay, you don't know me from Adam, right? I'm a stranger to you. I share with you who I am, my results, my real results, and you can kind of feel me now. But if you're not ready, you really want to get on the phone with me before you make this kind of decision, you can schedule a $99 fit call, fully refundable, and that cart is here. So that's all this is. Do not be overwhelmed by what is here. It's literally just a sequence of emails, and this is how they choose to organize it, right? And then I shared with you some of the pages that those emails link to, because in those emails are links to certain things. And so let me show you really quickly. ClickFunnels. I'll show you some of the pages. ClickFunnels has been awesome, but again, you can create these landing pages on your WordPress website. You do not need ClickFunnels in order to do this. Okay. But it has made it easy for me. You also have lead pages and other platforms like that, Insta pages that will help you create these kind of pages. So one, there's the registration page. Let me see if I can show that to you. Registration page. Right, and you can also, this is the one I built in ClickFunnels, but this can also be done in Webinar Jam. If I go to Webinar Jam and I go to Monetize Masterminds, your links, Webinar Jam has some templates, and you can see a similar page here on Webinar Jam, right? So that's all there, and I'm testing. The reason I show you both of those is because I'm testing which one actually converts better. Okay, so that's the first page. That's the registration. From there, Webinar Jam has its own thank you page, but ClickFunnels, you can create a confirmation page, and I'll show that to you. So the confirmation pages, thanks, you're registered. I put the same video on because they may not have watched the full video on the registration page. I put a timer here about when the webinar officially starts, Google Calendar link, an iCal link. They can join the Facebook group, and then just reminding them of what the webinar is all about. So that's the confirmation page. Then Frank Kern calls it indoctrination. I don't like that. I guess I would call it warming people up, but just following again. I just need you to follow the recipe. Don't try to get innovative and things of that nature. Just follow the recipe. So this is video number one, and this is talking about the opportunity, how to turn community into currency. Because a lot of these people that I serve, they have community, but they're not necessarily turning it into currency. They have greater social followings than I do, but it's not turning it into currency. And so we don't get phased by sexy metrics. We focus on successful metrics. So again, the timer is here, the webinar date, and then they see that there'll be some more videos coming along in the sequence. Okay, so the next video is very similar, or the next page is very similar. And it is as follows. It is how to create consistent cash flow. One of the biggest things that coaches struggle with is cash flow. And this is just a slide video. You don't even see me in it. And it's really just talking about one of the big ideas that I'm going to share on the actual webinar in terms of how a mastermind can actually help you create consistent cash flow so you don't have these spikes in your revenue, right? And then they know another video is coming soon, okay? Then from there, video number 3 is all about the community, how to move people in the middle. And this graphic here has been one that's really captured it for a lot of people, how they have their high in coaching and speaking over here, books down here. But what about all those people in their list who are in the middle? And so I talk about how to move those people in the middle and how that can be powerful. And these videos are literally only 7, well, this one is actually a little bit longer. And the reason I went in on this one, I actually showed my face, wanted to create a little human touch. But the reason I went in on this one is because this is right before the webinar. And so I really want to create a personal connection with them, because the purpose of the quote unquote indoctrination or warm up sequence is to make sure they show up to the webinar, right? If they don't show up to the webinar, then they never see your offer. Okay. So that page there. So now this is what they call objection handling. Okay, objection handling is, okay, they got off the webinar, they didn't buy, so they must have some objections. And so we get into that. So Objection handling is really just showing. This is actually just the replay video. This is the replay video. No, this is actually the offer again. And it is the replay video. You can see it's 150 minutes, but I started it at the 71st minute, and you can do that with a little code in YouTube to start the video there. So they can go backwards if they want to see the entire replay, but I started it exactly at the moment that the offer occurs, and I'm just really encouraging them that they can do this. So this is kind of the replay page, but again, it reminds them that they can go click here to go to the cart, and then there's a timer here. Okay, so the next video is actually really powerful, and this comes to them via email again, and it talks about Fatima's story. And let me show you really quickly how these two things connect. So objection handling, right? I click here, and you see Fatima's interview. That's the email. It's just a second email, right? And I show a video of it, and once they click there, then that actually comes, I give her before and after story, and all she did was follow this particular system and process, and that takes them to this page here so that they can actually hear her story. She shot this, and she just told her story. I didn't really give her too much guidance. She just told what happened, and so this is here again. The shopping cart button is here as well. The money back guarantee, etc. So this is Fatima's success story. Okay, so I'm gonna close that. Next is the actual landing page. The landing page is where they go, where they get sent to as the offer is running out. And again, this video is the replay video, but it starts at the moment of the offer, right? So it starts with, so here's the deal. So we go straight into that. They see what they're getting, and it's Get Monetize Mastermind program for 100% free. And Fatima's story is there again. Then I really lay out the full curriculum for them, right, in a different way, because they saw it on the video, but now they're seeing it in a different format. And you can get all of this for free if you join the focus group, right? This is the behind the wall methodology that I've shared with you. And then I go into details about the focus group. I have some more testimonial videos, people in the focus group. Fatima is there again, but I also have other people. And I'll have more success stories like Fatima, and I'll use those in the actual selling of the program. This is just how it's laid out, and I've already showed you. Actually, I think we're going to get into your landing page in a second. We have a template that we'll use for you if you don't have ClickFunnels and you just have WordPress or domain name. We have a template. And then here are just some other focus group member stories and testimonials so they can get a feel for who in the focus group, and then frequently asked questions. So these are some of the key elements. So it's a very long landing page, but the pitch is you can get Monetize Masterminds for free. All you have to do is join the focus group, right? So that's there. And again, the last page is going to the shopping cart, and the shopping cart is what they go to directly on the webinar. They don't go to the landing page on the webinar. We give them the shopping cart link. So the way we position it, because it's a mastermind group and nobody else is doing this is who you get and this is what you get. Everybody else out there is giving you stuff, right? They're giving you what. We give you a who. And so the three options are here: $19.99 flat, $199 a month, or $99 for a fit call. We really lay out the value stacking here with the address, and then they can complete their order just like that. And if they come after the cart has closed, then there is finally a closed cart page, and they get to go on a wait list. And sorry you missed it. The focus group is closed for now. If you'd like to be notified when a seat enrollment opens, please let us know. And this creates leads for future openings in the group, right? So this is the funnel. And actually, I'm going to give you all these emails, and I'll put those in there, and we will do our best to integrate your answers from previous questions into these kind of emails here. So this is the objection handling. You'll have to integrate images, but this is how this process works right here. Okay. So you'll have all those emails, and you can replicate them and put your own touch and your own tone on them as well. So that is how you go turn cold traffic And I showed you Facebook ads. It's how you turn a Facebook ad into an actual customer using cold traffic. Okay. So that's module 2.6. Now we're going to go into 2.7, which is your landing page. And there are some key elements of a landing page, and they are as follows. This is the kind of checklist that I've created based on great landing pages that I've seen. I take screenshots of them and I compare them and I see what's working, what actually compels me to want to buy. And these are the ingredients that I've come up with. Probably should have numbered them so that you can see that this is like 16, 17 ingredients in order to create a great landing page. So usually there's 3 big questions worded so that their answers are yes, yes, and yes. So are you a coach who wants more consistent cash flow? Yes, right? Are you tired of being on the phone all day coaching and need time to actually run your business? Yes. Do you feel like you're a CEO trapped in the title of a coach? Yes, right? So there's these 3 big questions that let them know that they're in the right place. And then, will this solve my problem? So the reason I worded in that way is because you want to think in the mindset of the viewer, not in your mindset. So what is going through their mind is, I know I'm in the right place now. Will this solve my problem? So this is where the letter comes in, and this is the letter right here, a short little letter to the visitor. Who is this? Who is this not for? Who is this not for, and who is it for? Who is it for? Sorry about that. Who is this not for, and who is it for? So is this for me, right? Because it worked for these people. I see these other people's pictures, but is it for me? And then what is it exactly? And that usually is captured in a 1-sentence summary. How is it different than other stuff that I've tried or I've looked at? Then you want to integrate some exclusivity and some scarcity. With the mastermind group, that's pretty easy because you have a cap in terms of the number of seats, right? For some of you are saying I'm doing a group of 10. That's a huge scarcity. Some of you are doing groups of 30, but those are still low numbers. So scarcity is almost built into the mindset of a mastermind. Then who the heck are you, and why did you create this? So this is telling your reluctant leader story via video or via text in the best way you know how. Why you, and why are you credible? That again is integrated into your reluctant leader story, and all of these are questions that are in the mind of the visitor. Then what do I get from this? So this is where they kind of want to know the stuff, and they're really trying to get at the path. They really only care about the result, right? But they're trying to see what they actually get from this and how does it work. And then has it worked for someone like me? So this is where diverse testimonials of past clients or current members and founding members actually work for you. And people can say, I look like that person, or that person has the same title as me, or they're from the same part of the country as me, or their business is just starting out like mine. You want to find you want to get enough testimonials so that they have something to connect to and someone to connect to outside of you. And then, is there someone I trust who can vouch for you? So this is celebrity testimonials, and celebrity testimonials, somebody who may not be in your mastermind group, but you know and consider a peer in your space. And especially if you use them as affiliates to send out emails on your behalf, and they see, such and such, who I'm on their list too, they are vouching for this person, right? That's what I call a celebrity testimonial. Am I feeling this person? So the way they feel you is your power picture. And this is you commanding a large audience or leading a group, your warm smile, whether you're family oriented. These things are communicated usually through photos. They're also in your client photos, your colors, the tone, the design, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And then they need to know when I have to make a decision by. Is this like constantly open? Because if it's a constantly open offer, then they'll just procrastinate on it and come when there's really, really a pain, right? But the way I showed you, there's going to be timers, right? They have to make a decision within 3 days of the actual webinar. Why now? And the way you get them to sense the urgency is through value stacking and the discount that expires. You're essentially taking away money, and you're saying that this is a one-time offer and they won't find it anywhere else. And then what is the investment? That's where you get into the monthly, the fit call, and then an alternative. And I encourage you to put this up there, which is your hourly coaching. That is the actual alternative. They can join you for focus group for $199 a month, or you can pay $500 an hour for one-on-one coaching, because I'm giving you all of my attention, or you can come be a part of this group for a lot less, right? So for coaching, you can get 4 hours of coaching with me at $500 an hour, or you can join the focus group and have me and this community for an entire year for the same amount. So you're kind of putting those as juxtaposition against one another. And then how do I not get screwed? Nobody wants to get done over. Nobody wants to buy a lemon from a car salesman. And so this is where your guarantee and the option for a fit call come in. And then what is the next step? You have to tell them exactly what the next step is: buy, apply, or schedule a call. You have to tell them exactly what to do next, because they've just went through this long landing page. So let me guide you through the landing page that we are actually going to create for you. That is Fatima's. I'm going to show it to you right now. It's on mastermind.org, and you can see it here. Then you can see Rashida's as well. So Fatima's color is this kind of teal, and you see her power photo leading the group. People focused on her. Her tagline, her official clothes, her timer was there. Her letter, her signature, her headshot, which is great. Her credibility markers. These are also counted as celebrity testimonials. Big companies that you worked with. Who is it for, and what is it? We are a group of 25 professionals creating lives, careers, and businesses we love. What do you get? Right? These are answering all the questions that I just mentioned above. This is a founder testimonial from this particular woman. And it communicates solitude, but also reflection. How does it work? You'll all get a copy of this particular image that you can use. Actually, I'll send you the PowerPoint slides so that you can actually move these things around to show your person or what the month, their 30-day success cycle is going to look like. And then how many times you're going to do all these things. All these things you've already answered in the previous modules. You also get this image so that they can see, wow, there's an online component where I get coached, and you all get the platform with your membership. Then I talked about your one-day event. You want to kind of visualize what that's going to look like. You don't need a lot, right? You're just saying, look, we're going to get together at the mid-year or the beginning of the year. Here's 2 sentences about it, and here's some pictures of the type of feel and things we're going to be doing. Then you offer your package. Here goes the juxtaposition of your one-on-one coaching here. So this is the full commitment. This is the monthly commitment. And this is juxtaposition of your one-on-one coaching. Credit cards here. Send questions if they have any. Your guarantee, and then frequently asked questions here. Now you see Fatima's color was teal, and Rashida, same structure, but hers is gold, right? Hers is gold. Same exact structure, different headshot, different letter, different logos here, different photos, a few different photos there, a few different numbers here, but the same structure, right? Same structure. And then, of course, Rashida is in Canadian. Okay, so that's what that's how your landing page will end up looking. And again, you are filling in all of this content through your modules before. So I don't even need to go through these slides, because you've already seen it live on the website. And so that's module 2.7. It's not really much more for you to do. There may be other elements that you decide to add to your landing page, but this is the landing page that we can actually create for you, because we have this template laid out. And once you say, Julian, all my content is ready, can you please create my landing page at the Finishers Mastermind, then your website or your landing page will be masterminds.org/finishers mastermind, right? And it'll look like this. So you'll have to send us all the imagery and everything. And if you are WordPress savvy, we may give you a login so that you can go in and actually edit it, but the template is there for you, okay? So again, we're trying to take all the work off your plate to make it as easy as possible for you to focus on your members and not on marketing, okay? So that is module 2.7. Now I want to go into module 2.8, and this is how to leverage free content to create authority. And I talked to you about seeding. I showed you Rashida's video, but there's all kinds of different content that you can create. And the reason this is important is because people have different learning styles, right? Some people are auditory learners, some people are kinesthetic, some people are visual learners. And so you want to hit them in the different ways that connect with how they receive information. And so some things that are in the red circle that are it's just you and them on a call. A podcast, webinar is very auditory, right? Especially if it's primarily slides and not you in your face, right? And then there's kinesthetic, and that can be live lectures, live events like the New Year event. It could be an info session. I remember going to a Rich Dad Poor Dad info session at a hotel. It could be a 7-day challenge where you're challenging them to do things in the real world every single day, right? And then there's visual, which are diagrams, illustrations, infographics, mind maps. These are all different examples of things that are visual that will connect with somebody. So that visual of the long tail chart, that visual has really connected with people. It's the one thing, it's one of the things that they actually remember. So creating those kind of visuals, which may already be integrated in your deck, is really powerful. And then there's, of course, overlap. Worksheets are kinesthetic, but also visual. There's videos, mini course, Facebook Live, all these things you want to leverage. The ones that you need. You don't need to use them all, but it's really about awareness of who your avatar is, who your audience is, and what ways they like to receive information. And you can literally just look at what things you've sent out in the past that have actually popped, right? And just use that, right? We don't have to go do market research. We just use what's worked in the past. And this is why I like webinars, because webinars actually can integrate all of these things, auditory, kinesthetic, and visual, all at the same time, as long as it's a webinar that is action-based, right? And is leading them to an instant result, right? You want to give them part of the result in advance. And so my webinars aren't just talking and teaching. There's actually assignments on the webinar. On the webinar, we're coming up with your group name. We're establishing a date, right? We're having you send out a text message to your friend, inviting them to connect with, inviting them to potentially be a founding member. We are doing action stuff, right? And so this is why webinars is so powerful. So here's an example of blogs. Here's one of my blogs on LinkedIn that has over 250,000 views on it. You can see all the likes and comments. And this was on the difference between high performers and workaholics. You know, seven subtle differences. Of course, I knew the LinkedIn audience. And though this is not directly related to my mastermind group, it is related to our mission in terms of creating more ease in the lives of entrepreneurs, right? And so I can reference this, and you can use tools like LinkedIn that actually send your work out there, because I would not have got this many views on my own blog. Is it on my own blog? Yes. But with LinkedIn, you can tap into the virality of things as long as you write a unique, in-depth post that really connects with that audience. So you can see that this has 265,000 views. And of course, at the bottom of that article, what do I have? If you want to shift from workaholism to high performance, click here to download these 2 pages I created to change my habits. Bam. I get leads from that all the time. So I want you to be done with creating free content. Yes, the content can be free, but on the back end of the content, or in the description, or in the footer, you are always making an offer to get somebody into your funnel, right? Because that was a mistake I had done in the past. I would create all these amazing articles, and they were getting spread and put here, here, and here, but that would be it. They would get a lot of likes and would get shared, and then people would have to do the work to go find me, right? As opposed to me just declaring at the bottom, here's a tool I created to help you take the first step in making this shift. So I want you to think like that everything that you put out, yes, it may be free to the person who's consuming it, but at the end, there's always an offer that you are making to get to know you on a deeper level and work with you in a distant way until they decide to invest at a higher level. Quenisha did this great with her post on how to succeed with your New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions is posts around that are always good, because you know that people are setting goals and things of that nature. But in the footer of that post, what do you want to do? You want to make sure that, hey, I have this free webinar coming up on January 7th. On how to turn your New Year's resolutions into reality, right? So that you always want to be making that offer to engage with you on a deeper level on any content that you put out. Absolutely any content that you put out. Okay. Next is a video. I did this video and I captured it pretty early, so it doesn't have tons of views. But I did a video at the beginning of the year on if I'm tired of people saying New Year's resolutions don't work, right? Again, this is establishing my footprint as somebody who actually knows how to turn resolutions into reality. And as you can see, I have the offer over here, which is the newyearguide.com, which sends them to a landing page to get the New Year Guide, right? And of course, in the video, I plant seeds about the New Year Guide. I think I even show the New Year Guide. So this is the kind of content that you want to be seeding and planting that always leads to your mastermind group offer or webinar. Okay. Your offer may be too direct, so you may lead to a tool that you end up having another email sequence or offer come later, right? You want to usually lead with something. When you're giving out free content, you usually want to give something free at the end. You don't want to just send them to your sales page and say, join me for $1.99 a month. That's too much, right? That's too big of a commitment. This is our first date. You're doing too much, right? So you want to figure out what is a piece of my curriculum that I can turn into a tool that this person can use right now. Okay. So the downloads, the New Year Guide, this is the landing page for the New Year Guide. I did create this in ClickFunnels, but again, lead pages, Insta pages, Megaphone, all those other things can create these type of pages. And I just lay it out. And they also got to get involved in the 28-day Build Momentum Challenge for free when they downloaded the New Year Guide. So this is a tool that has been a real lead generator for me. And even if it didn't lead to direct sales, it actually allowed people to start building a relationship with me, and people rely on it every single year. And I found that some of the people that are actually in the focus group, they started out with this particular tool that they found some way, somehow, long ago. And over the years, I've built trust. And then when I made this particular offer, they wanted to engage on a deeper level, and they were ready to engage on a deeper level. That's how that worked. I have another example from Quenisha, who I think is killing it and doing it great. She had this $7 Black Woman CEO Wisdom Guide. And this is actually awesome because as you heard me earlier talk about, Quenisha, one, she reached out to all these Black women CEOs to get their feedback on what was really working for them. And one, that gives her an easy way to connect and build relationships with all these amazing women, right? Two, it allowed her to create a product out of it that she can give away as a free offer. And actually, she didn't make it free. It's actually $7, right? So this is what people call a tripwire. When you have something for $7, it's like, oh, I just got to get this, right? I got to get this. So we saw when I was doing the impulse buying thing for Tanya earlier on, we saw the woman who was talking about, I bought this $3 Dory calendar because it was normally 13, right? A tripwire or something like that, where you're getting somebody to become a customer, right? They are pulling out their credit card and becoming a customer. And this $7 will likely cover Quenisha's Facebook ads or whatever she used to pay to get this kind of traffic, right? So here's the second thing about this particular approach is that now Quenisha has opened up a door with these 20, 30 women who are, or actually, I don't know how, 21 Black women CEOs. And guess what? They are ripe candidates for her mastermind. Those 21 Black women are actually ripe candidates for her mastermind, right? And that's powerful. So she's like, look, I reached out. I got 21 of you. You can see all their faces and pictures in the book. Here's the finished product. And you know what I decided is that I wanted to create a community. You all should know each other. And so I would actually like to invite you to be part of my mastermind so that we can actually connect and work on together on a deeper level. Right. So that's beautiful. And is she going to convert all 21 of those people? Probably not. Right. It's very unlikely. But if she gets 2, 3, 4 people from that, that becomes very powerful. Right. And so I'll give you an email template for how to actually make that kind of ask to your target market. And this is likely to people who you know are going to up level your game. These are people who, because she probably reached out to people who were further along than her on her journey, and this is going to require her to step her game up. So Quenisha, kudos to you for this. And then you can do a challenge. It could be a 7-day challenge, 30-day challenge, 21-day challenge, however you want to structure it. Tanya did this great with the Banish the Balance challenge. She got so much energy and traffic around it. The only thing is that she attracted people who are in debt, right? And if she's going to make a mastermind offer, it's likely not going to be people who are in severe debt that join a mastermind. And so I give this to you as an example of a challenge that you can create that is going to get people activated and is actually going to get them a result in advance. And as I showed you earlier in the Venn diagram, having some sort of 7-day challenge is kinesthetic. And if you can get them a result through your challenge, they're going to be more open to working with you and continuing to work with you afterwards. So I just want to give you real examples from our community of people doing it. Go look at the hashtag and see the kind of energy that people were able to attract. Search for Quenisha's tool, search for the New Year Guide, and just learn, type in your email address and learn the structures and how this all played out, or just reach out and ask us. And we will share what we know about how to get these things out there in the world to get you free leads as opposed to using Facebook traffic or ads, which you have to pay for. I do believe in that model, and I shared it with you, and I know that it can be profitable. But again, the audience has to be right and the offer has to be right as well. And be very mindful of the content that you're creating, because you want to make sure that you are actually attracting the man or woman or just the avatar that you actually want. Because there's a lot of people who you can serve and help, and I'm not asking you to cut those people off. Remember, 98% of the people on your email list, they're probably just going to be window shoppers, but the 2% that you ultimately become customers are the people that you have to really care about, because they're the ones that allow you to actually serve the other 98%. When you think about Tesla started off with its premium cars first, right? And by starting off with its premium cars, that's what allowed Tesla to actually create the Model 3, which is the $35,000 car, right? That is ultimately going to be mass market. If they try to start with a $35,000 car where they probably have a lot thinner margins, it would be challenging to, it would have been challenging to do it that way. So they started premium, and that premium pricing that they got, and they found their right audience, right? They found the audience and the offer were directly aligned. They were able to charge a premium, not just charging a lot of money just for the sake of charging a lot of money, but enough to actually sustain the business, to continue the research, to actually create the $35,000 Model 3. And so that's the approach that I think we need to take going forward. Okay. So that is the end of that module. I encourage you to think about some ideas, some tools, and lead magnets that you can create to actually start to attract the traffic that you want. And again, this is free traffic. It's not free because you spend time and probably a little bit of money to design that resource that you're giving away for free. I spend time creating the New Year Guide. It's not just free, but you're not paying for the actual traffic if you find an offer and the right audience that it gets it to go. I'm not going to say viral in terms of millions, and that's great if it does, but that is starting to attract more of the right people that you ultimately think you can serve and will end up wanting to join your mastermind group. Okay. Great. Now we're going to go into 2.9, which is how to use fit calls to increase your close rate. I talked to you about this earlier, how, sometimes just jumping into a $1,999 relationship with a stranger, that can be challenging, right? You have to be really great at sales to do that. But another way to go around that is actually to offer this $99 fit call. And that's why I call it, it's a deposit. And the deposit one is 100% refundable. As soon as somebody gets on the phone with me for that fit call, I initiate their refund. Even if they are going to buy, I want them to buy in the full way. I don't want them to say, "Oh no, just take the $99 off my membership." No, I'm a man of my word. Your money is already on the way back to you before we get into the call. I've already initiated the refund. So this was not about me keeping your $99, and that makes the call a lot easier. It's not like, "Oh, am I going to get my $99 back?" No, that's already on the way, right? The fact that we're on this call, you held up to your promise, I'm holding up to mine, right? And now the slate is clean. Nobody owes anybody anything. And the deposit also shows that the person is serious. It repels people who are not serious and who are really just trying to pick your brain. Anybody trying to pick your brain, there's no more picking of your brain. Your brain is gold. This notion of that's just my 2 cents. No, none of you have just 2 cents to give. You are all giving gold. And so it repels people who just want to pick your brain and want to front like they're interested in your mastermind. It also locks in their discount, right? So let's say you can't schedule the fit call before the cart closes. It's a way of locking in their discount, again, to show that they're serious. It gives them some time over the 72 hours to think through it, to talk with others that may need to make the decision with them. And on the fit call, it gives them a chance to get a feeling for you one-on-one. You connected with them via webinar or from the stage, but this gives them a chance to connect with you one-on-one. And since it's literally just a 15 to 20 to sometimes 30-minute call, if it's the right person, it's worth it if it's going to lead into a membership, right? And so this survey, this mastermind pre-call fit form, I have it for you. All you have to do, again, is go copy it. You click on the three dots and say make a copy, and then you change my mastermind to the name of your group. And this is the survey that they get sent to them right after, and you can make it their thank you page for their shopping cart. So when they pay the $99 right after the webinar, their thank you page is actually the fit call form. And this gives you information about who they are. And let me see, this is 2.9. Let me go over there real quick. 2.9 fit calls. I'm going to show you the survey really quickly. Okay. Actually, this survey. So I need to add the survey here for you. Let me see. So I'm going to add it here for you. Fit. Yes, Monetize Masterminds pre-call fit form. I think it's this one. Yeah. So this is the one I created for you. I'll put that link in there. But it's their full name, primary email address, best phone number, their website, their LinkedIn profile. So this allows you to do some research in advance of them actually getting on the phone with you. How do you think joining this mastermind could benefit you right now? Right. So you're kind of trying to pull out what is the urgency for them right now. What would they be bringing to the mastermind group as a member? So they actually have to start selling you, right? This is not just a fit call to see if you're a fit for them. It's actually a fit call to see if they're a fit for you. And so they actually start selling you on, oh, this is what I think I can bring, right? And this is why this is urgent for me right now. Then what stage of business, and this could be different for you. It could be relationships for somebody like Kazi, right? What stage are you at? I'm dating. I'm not dating. I just got divorced. I'm just going solo right now and reflecting. Like, what stage are they at? You want to know that. And then you'll ask other questions related to your ultimate mission. So for me, since I help entrepreneurs, who is their tribe and how big is it? What outcome or result do you sell? What products or services do you have? What were their revenues in the past 12 months? What is their goal for the next 12 months? What's the number one thing that's stopping them? What questions or concerns do you want me to address on our 30-minute fit call? Again, this is reminding them of the time, that this is not a 1-hour coach call, that this is literally time constrained. And then are they just reminding them that this is 100% refundable deposit, and that's it. So you can customize this for you. Somebody like Charles, who's going to be working with parents who have college-bound students, or maybe not college-bound students and want them to be college-bound, he's going to ask completely different questions, like what are some of the students' target schools? What's their GPA? Has the FAFSA been completed? Are there any unique characteristics about the student that may allow us to apply for certain scholarships? What is the family income, so that we can see how we can get scholarships, things of that nature. Charles will ask completely different things based on who it is that he's serving, right? Excuse me. So that survey is there for you, and it's really powerful thing, because it allows you, once you're on the fit call, to actually be prepared for that call and get direct to the point, and really determine whether this person is a fit. So I want to share with you some sales techniques that Ginger and I have mastered over the past few years that I think are going to be helpful to you when you're on the actual fit call. I think we've already shared. Our definition of sales, and how our definition of sales is really getting someone to accept help. Our definition of sales is not persuading or cajoling somebody to do something they do not want to do. That is not how we define sales. Because once you sell somebody like that, and then you're not delivering, or they're not happy, it's going to go back to the fact that you attracted and you persuaded the wrong person just because there was money on the table, and that's not what we want to do. So we want to share with you how to ask meta questions to really help the meta questions, with the intention of showing the person actually how little they know, and actually revealing your expertise without you boasting. That's really the essence of meta questions, and I'm going to show you how this works. So first and foremost, we want to get at the root cause. So what the client tells you in their survey, what they see as their problem, is usually going to be on the surface. But every problem usually has a corresponding internal problem or limiting belief or blockage that the person is facing. So they're going to tell you that my problem is that Facebook won't work for me, or I'm not getting enough traction on my blog. And that's literally, if you really listen to it, it's about blaming something or somebody else for why they're not successful. And so what you have to do is help show them that as their innermost trusted advisor, you have to show them that the challenge is actually with them and not internal. And one of the easiest ways to do that, and not external, one of the easiest ways to do that is go back to the leverage question that I shared with you earlier, which is in my pitch slides, or just ask, is there anybody out there who you see succeeding like that? And do they think that that's luck? Is there somebody out there you see succeeding in using Facebook, or whose blog is getting a lot of traction? And do you think that is luck? Right? Or do you believe that that's actually possible for you as well? So this is first and foremost, when you're thinking about anything that they share with you, it's usually going to be a surface thing. They're not trying to be elusive in terms of accepting responsibility, but anything that you hear, you want to try to think about what is the corresponding internal limiting belief that is actually they're actually speaking to. So things to ask in the pre-call survey, I already showed you those things. How do you think joining this mastermind could benefit you? All these things are already laid out in that survey that we just walked through. Now I want to get into meta questions. So meta questions come from this framework that there are things that we realize we know, right? And those are very little. Then there's things that we realize that we don't know. Like I know about healthy eating. I don't necessarily know how to eat and cook as healthily as I want to, but it's in my awareness, and I know there are resources out there, and I'm seeking to access them. But then there are things that we don't even realize that we don't know. And these are where meta questions come from. And anytime you're questioning, you want to take them from this zone of I have it all figured out, or I'll figure it out on my own. You want to actually push them into this yellow area of things that they didn't even realize that they don't know. Because as they move to a place of uncertainty, we have a human desire in us to actually be in certainty, right? And you are actually going to be their avenue to be in more certainty going forward in whatever goal that they have, whether that's college admissions, whether it's finding romance, or whether it's building their business. But you have to show and demonstrate your expertise by the questions you ask, which are sincere, genuine, helpful questions. But you're actually revealing to them as you ask those questions how much that they don't know that they don't know. Okay, so the goal of meta questions is to push them to a place of uncertainty where their answer is always no, right? To demonstrate your expertise and kindly expose how much they don't know that they don't know through the right questions. And then you want to get them to buy from you or join you because they believe in you, and them to believe that you and them together, with you and them together, they believe more in you and them together than they believe in themselves alone. Right? You get them to buy from you because they believe in you and them together more than they believe than in themselves alone. So I need to change that really quickly. That threw me off. More than they believe in themselves alone. Okay, so That's the goal of meta questions. Okay, so bad meta questions. A bad meta question would be, how many cans of paint are you going to buy? Because they will give you a direct answer with 100% certainty and confidence. Oh yeah, I'm buying two cans of paint, right? And then a good meta question is, do you know how much paint to buy? And now you've thrown them into a space of uncertainty. It's the same question essentially, but it's not a yes or no question, right? And it leans them towards no, because they really don't know. Like they don't even know what a liter is probably in terms of a paint can or whatnot, right? So this is an example of a bad meta question and a good meta question, right? So we're going to get into some painting. We're going to pretend like you're a painter and you're at Home Depot and you see somebody with 2 cans of green paint and they are ready to paint their living room. We talked about this a little bit earlier, right? And we're going to discuss some meta questions that somebody who is a painter could ask somebody who who's going to paint. Remember, there's a difference between a painter and somebody who is going to paint, right? You are a painter. Whatever it is that you do, you are a painter. You are an ER. It's who you are. This is something that they are going to be trying to do on their own for probably the first time, right? So some meta questions. Do you know how much paint to buy? I don't want you to waste money or end up with 2 different colors. Are you sure the paint is going to match when it dries? How many coats are you planning to do? Is the room ready? They'll be like, what do you mean, is the room ready? Right? They will ask you, what are the criteria for a room to be ready? Did you get the right primer? What do you mean? What do you mean, right primer? I thought I could just get anything. Because most people don't know about primer, but the word right makes them think that they don't know something. And they don't. Do you know how long to wait between coats? We're just going to wait a day, an hour until I run my finger on it, right? They probably don't know. Will your wife care that much if it's not perfect? That's a good one, because now, especially if it's a man, you are actually appealing to who he is hopefully trying to please by actually painting this thing. And if she doesn't care, it actually, you're pulling in the wife even though she's not there, right? Of course the wife will care, but the question opens up the fear of disappointing someone else. And do you know the secret to paint drying faster? And of course you don't know the secret, right? There could be many secrets, but you stepped into it as there's this one singular secret, right? So here are some other ones. Which way are you going to stroke the brush? There's actually a right way to stroke a paintbrush. It's not just slapping it on a wall, and they probably don't know. What kind of brush are they going to use? They saw the 99-cent brush, and they don't know that there's actually a distinction between the type of brush just painters use and the type of brush that they're about to buy. Have you thought about ventilation and face gear? No, I was just gonna open up some windows. Well, there's some stuff in paint that if you get the cheap paint that you don't want to be inhaling all day, right? How are you gonna protect the floor and moldings? They just had paint. They didn't get the covers for the floors and the carpets and things of that nature. So again, you're pushing them towards uncertainty. Are you going to use semi-gloss or flat paint? Like I've looked at both, or there's 3 types now: eggshell, semi-gloss. And when I run my finger over them, I can feel the difference between flat. But the other 2, I can't really tell the difference. And it's very subtle, but a painter can, right? Did they tell you how to prevent paint from dripping from the ceiling? So if this person is planning to paint the ceiling, no, nobody told me that. Who was supposed to tell me? Who was they, right? They is just made up and suggest that someone should have let them know that already. So these are examples of meta questions from a painter standpoint. And so I'm inviting you to actually come up with meta questions for your particular business. Do you know, so for Charles, helping college students get into college, do you know the right number of dependents you should claim on your FAFSA? Have you ever filled out a FAFSA before? Another example is for Charles is, do you know how to determine if a school is a right fit? Right? These are all questions that are helpful questions because they've never considered them, but you're moving them to the yellow zone of things that they haven't even considered. And it's actually revealing your expertise at the very same time. Okay. So now that we have that, we're going to get onto the call. And when we think about the call, I have a sales script for you, and it's really as follows. Again, this is a 30 minutes or less call. So first and foremost is listening. So you thank them for this survey. Now that we're on the phone, why this? Why now? What's your one major goal that if accomplished would make this all worth it for you? Where are you in relationship to it, right? And you just listen from there. You listen to their language. So this is not you trying to talk about who you are and where you've been in the media outlets. No, this is all about them. And it should always be all about them. And so the first 3 to 5 minutes of the call may be them just telling you where they are, and let them ramble, because in their rambling comes vital information about where they're struggling and where they feel uncertainty. Then from there, you can ask more meta questions. How long have you wanted to write this book? What do you, who do you have to be, or what do you have to do differently, right? And again, you want to move them towards uncertainty, because they may come up with answers for those things. Well, how long have you wanted to write this book? Actually reveals in and of itself that there's something blocking them from actually wanting to write it, right? Because if they could have written it, they would have written it. And then who do you have to be, or what do you have to do differently? They're going to come up with things, right? But it gives you an opportunity to say, well, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Have you considered, no, I hadn't thought about that, right? So again, people have this general inclination to pretend like they know or that they can figure it out. But as you start to move them towards uncertainty, you're not trying to belittle them whatsoever, because you're really just doing this to simply help them, and you're moving them to through the process of actually accepting help from you, because you believe that you can help them and that you two together is better than them alone. Okay. Then from there, you can reflect back and restate their language in your own words, or state their problems. So just so we're aligned, you want to blank, 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 but you're having challenges with blank, blank, and blank, right? So you are trying to really outline through all the cloudy words and things that they shared. Here's what I'm hearing. You want this, but you're having difficulty. Therefore, you're not getting from point A to point B. And you can add your language here. What I'm really hearing is a challenge with accountability. Would you agree? What I'm really hearing is a challenge with discipline. Would you agree? And the reason I use those 2 words is because those 2 words are the exact same thing that your mastermind group actually offers. What I'm really hearing is that you're dealing with being alone, right? And swimming in your own thoughts, right? And guess what? The mastermind group addresses that. Okay, so this is where you get an opportunity to add your own language. From there, you offer your packages. So we have a few options, as you know, from the webinar or from the event. And that is the full price monthly, no more fit call, of course. And so we have a couple options, or we can even go higher and do one-on-one coaching, but I charge this much an hour for one-on-one coaching, right? And then you let them choose between the options. So by giving them options, you're not saying, here's what I have, it's a yes or a no. You're saying, no, choose between these 3 different options, right? So you're getting away from it's a yes or no decision. It's like, no, which option is best for you decision. And then once they say, yes, I'm ready, then you celebrate. You celebrate on that call. You can do a happy dance. You can scream. You can shout. You can play some music in the background. And then from there, you tell them the next steps, and you give them the contract or the agreement, followed by email with the PayPal link. You can actually take their credit card on the phone right then and there, or you can email them the PayPal link and have that email link ready prior to the call starting. Send that over and say, I'm going to wait until the payment comes through so that I can make sure that you get onboarded immediately after this call, because our next event or our next huddle is actually this Wednesday. Okay. And then if they go into no, not now, here's how you approach it. You say, I really care about your success and I want you to succeed with or without me. So how about this? If I'll follow up with you in 30 days and see if you finish chapter 5 of your book, would you be committed to writing, or would you commit to writing 1 hour per day? And so you put them in a position where, look, I'm still going to hold you accountable, and we're going to see how you do for 1 month without this. And I'm going to revisit it. I'm not just going to let you go that easily, because I actually care about you. And then you follow up in 30 days and they're not at chapter 5 and they haven't been writing 1 hour a day. Then what that opens up is another opportunity. They're either going to hide or they're going to say, you know what, you're right, I'm ready to accept help. Okay. So on that call, a couple things come up. So the types of questions are kind of in 3 categories. It gave you a general structure, but there's some more specific questions that you can ask. So one is alignment, then there's advancement, and then there's commitment questions. So alignment is about you and them getting on the same page, right? Then there's an advancement that moves the conversation forward towards them actually accepting help, and then there's commitment. Okay. Some alignment questions include: how does what we've talked about sound so far? Sound to you so far? How do you feel about what we discussed so far? Are you with me so far? Right. So using that so far language. Is this the outcome that you want? So making sure that you have it right so that you can help them. What do you think about the possibility I've shared with you? Right. How do you believe joining this mastermind? How do you believe joining this mastermind will significantly help you get what you want this year? And based on what you've heard so far, do you have any questions? So again, this is a lot of so far language, right? You're just making sure that you and them are walking on the same beach, hand in hand. Okay. Next is advancement questions. What would you like to have happen next? Right. So they're asking you. They're telling you what they want to do next. How do you want to move forward? Our next call is blank. Are you ready to get started so that we can get you ready for that? Right. So these are advancement questions, right? This may happen around the 20-minute mark or something along those lines. And then finally, your commitment questions. Do you agree that the monthly subscription and do you believe that the monthly subscription and starting with blank, which is Be Paid or with Monetize Masterminds or starting with this 30-day plan that I created for you is the best way to go, right? How do you want to pay? That's a commitment question. How would you like me to send you an invoice, right? Even if you haven't asked about payment, but you're already talking about invoice, then it presupposes that the payment is going to occur, right? Is it okay if I send you your receipt via email? Same thing. By already talking about the receipt and the invoice, you're pre-assuming that the payment is already going to occur. So these are examples of commitment questions. It's like asking my wife, what day do you want to get married, right? That's my engagement question because I'm already talking about the wedding, okay? Or where do you point to which house you want? Like, you're actually talking about the future. You're saying that's an afterthought. Well, let's talk about the future now already, and let's just get this done, okay? So that is the end of Module 2. Come up with your advancement questions, your alignment questions, your commitment questions that you'll use for your exact work. Come up with meta questions that are going to help you move people from a space of, oh, I'll figure this out, do it myself, DIY, to a place of uncertainty. And again, it's not to make people small. It's really just to say that I actually know more than you, and I know that you and I will be better together than you alone. And I can get you to the result that you actually desire faster, safer, and easier than you can. That's the place that you have to come from when you're asking these questions. It's all from a place of love and help and support. All right. So we'll get into Module 3 in a second, but for now, start thinking about what kind of questions that you can ask on your fit calls that will lead someone to be more receptive to receiving help. Okay. Peace.